your go-to order Dunkin'? It can be beverage or otherwise.
I usually just get a small iced coffee, regular. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Classic.
I get like the black iced coffees with the sweeteners, the non-fat milk. So I'm more difficult, but I definitely like it a certain way.
I'm picking up a vibe here. There's like a,
high maintenance, not so high maintenance.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Founding Four podcast. This is a bonus episode featuring Buffalo Beauts forwards and sisters, Hunter and Taylor Accursi. Now, by the time this video is going out, you will probably know that Taylor Accursi will not be heading to the NWHL single site in Lake Placid, or the NDubble, as I like to call it. She will be remaining back in Ontario as part of the police force there, but you'll still get to see Hunter Accursi, and this was a really fun interview. So thank you to Taylor and Hunter, and of course the Buffalo Beauts organization for putting this together. But before I head over to the bonus episode, a few other notes and news that you might have seen in the interwebs. So I am recording this the same day that I made my open ice appearance, and that is already live now and up for people to watch. But I will be heading to Florida to cover the NWHL. Why Florida? Well, I'll tell you why. As it turns out, the NWHL has a new production team, and that production team works out of a studio in Florida to call games remotely. So I will be part of the 6-person broadcast team that will be calling games for the Twitch audience. And I have a lot of really fun things planned for the NWHL season leading up to, including this interview with Hunter and Taylor Accursi. But I also want to use the Twitch platform and a few other things to give you some of my analysis and feedback throughout the season. So if you're not already subscribed to Sports Talk ELA, I highly recommend that you do that. If you're listening to this in podcast form, Spotify, Transistor, which is where we house the Founding Four podcast, or anywhere else you listen to your podcasts, also subscribe there. Offering ratings and reviews, always appreciated. So another thing that I mentioned on part 2 of my interview with Angelica Karski, and that's the audio form of the podcast, is that we seem to have an EBUG situation, or an emergency backup goalie. And if you have listened to my conversation with Anya Packer leading up to the NWHL season, you know that I asked Anya about what the rosters would look like, and if there would be additional players in the bubble that maybe weren't a part of the roster that were available for teams in the event of injury, which happens in sports, or because we're playing sports during a worldwide pandemic, if there would be the opportunity to have players that can fill in for roster spots so that teams are not shorthanded. And Anya mentioned that that was something that the league is trying to work out. I also understand from that conversation with Anya that if a team gets down to a certain number of players, active players on their roster, that it might make sense for them to withdraw from competition. Of course, that's not something that anyone is hoping or anticipating. No team wants that to happen, but we have to remember safety protocols and keeping players safe in the immediate, intermediate, and long term is the goal. So a few things that we're getting. The EBUG announcement has not been official, but I've heard from a Connecticut Whale player that Mariah Fujimagari, who played with the Buffalo Beauts. She's been practicing with the Connecticut Whale. Dan Rice has been reporting that since the fall, and she will be an EBUG of sorts. Now, I have worked to confirm that with the league, but there's no confirmation if Mariah Fujimagari will be the EBUG for the entire league, if she'll be available for certain teams. I think maybe some of those details are still being worked out, but it does seem like at least there will be an EBUG situation. We've also seen teams like the Riveters use the term practice player. So I wonder if there will be additional players. I have spoken to the league again and other sources, and it looks like a roster can tap out at about 21 players. So that's a little bit of wiggle room for teams to play with. So again, just some updates, some news, some notes. And I mentioned open ice. Not only was I announced as one of the broadcasters, but my colleague from Minnesota, Alexis Pearson, was also tapped to call some games. We don't have the games in the same stretch. We're both analysts. So I will be calling the first 2 games of the season, and then the games that follow on Sunday and Tuesday, a few of those games. And then I will return to the Twitch broadcast, as Twitch will cover the NWHL Isabel Cup playoffs. So the semifinals and the final, they will carry that on Twitch for the international audience. So with all of that said, again, make sure that if you are getting value from this, my coverage of women's sports, that you head over to my Patreon page. That's how we fund this. But of course, you can like, subscribe, and sharing works really well as well. With that said, let's get you, I gave you a little tease, but let's get you to this interview with Hunter and Taylor Accursi. All right, Erica Ayala here for a very special edition of the Founding Forward podcast, because I'm not with one, but 2 players from the Buffalo Beauts, and they just happen to be sisters. We were talking offline. I'm all about the sister vibe. I have 2 sisters. Of course, I am talking of Taylor and Hunter Accursi. Ladies, how are we doing today?
We're doing pretty good. How about you?
Can't complain here in downstate New York. It's been a little rainy, but other than that, can't complain.
Can't complain. Better than snow, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially because I had a little Caribbean getaway a few weeks ago. So I'm not about the snow. I know.
Wow.
I know. Sorry. Just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, had to rub that in. Thank you. I just got colder.
Yeah, everything's colder after you've been on an island for a little bit. But okay, Taylor and Hunter, we are going to talk. There's so many exciting things to talk about. We're of course going to talk about the Buffalo Beauts. We're of course going to talk about the NWHL bubble, or the NDubble, as I like to say. But we're also going to just take it back to when it was just the Accursi sisters running around and figuring out this whole hockey thing. So actually, we will start there. And Taylor, we'll start with you first. What was kind of like growing up as a child, and how did hockey play into that?
Honestly, it pretty much was all my childhood. So, my parents were very, school first, do your homework, and then you could go do whatever it is that you did. And the majority of the time it was hockey. So yeah, I would just come home, do my homework, and then rush out and play street hockey or road hockey, or honestly it was rush to go to the rink and practice or to a game. So that's pretty much what built the foundation for me at a very young age. It was awesome to be able to have a stick in my hand and be able to go out and just play street hockey with the neighborhood kids. And Excellent. Okay, so Hunter, how about you? Obviously, you have an older sister that, as she said, just kind of it was hockey was the thing. But what was it like from your perspective?
I was a tag along for a long time. It was always my dad's games, my sister's games. I did gymnastics first, and then I wanted to be just like them. So I stopped that, and they got me on skates. This one was always in the basement, stick handling, playing mini sticks, whatever. So at a young age too, for me, they put me on skates. I had a senior stick cut down to a small size and was just in a little dress playing because I wanted to be just like them. So that's how that happened.
Oh, wow. That in there. She mentioned that she was a tag along at the age of 25, and she's 22. She's still a tag along. Just so clear. We're still there.
Oh, man. I love that. I was going to use the older sister transition, but Taylor, you gave me a perfect one, right? That's just how it goes. But, there are a few different ways that this can go. And I mentioned I have 2 sisters, And I know sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I was a little rough and I was like, I don't need you tagging around. Like, give me my space. Let me do my thing. And we never, only one of my sisters got really into sports, but we never played the same sport. And there's always this sisterly competition. And usually it's just a lot of fun. Sometimes it can get out of hand. And at least in our household, it drives our mom crazy. But I wonder what that was like for you, Taylor. Like, was it nice to have that companion? Was it a little bit annoying? I mean, you got to say something. At least I'm hoping it has a nice ending, as you'll be teammates on the Beauts this year.
I'm not going to lie. At the beginning, like from a very young age, it was pretty annoying. Having like your sister there or whatever. I remember one time she beat me at one thing and it was like Mario Kart, and I still hold that grudge to this day.
She doesn't lose well.
I don't lose well, especially to my younger sibling. So, but no, like obviously as we've gotten older and stuff, we've gotten really close, and it's a great opportunity to be able to play with her at a professional level. Because in high school, there was one opportunity for us to play together, but the teachers happened to go on strike, so we didn't actually get to physically play on the ice. So I think that this experience to be on the same team at a professional level is awesome, and it's rare, and I'm looking forward to just being able to share this with her, I guess you could say. So
that's fantastic. And so again, I only know the older sister experience, Hunter, so you have to forgive my bias that will inevitably come out in this interview. But I remember what my sisters used to say is like when they'd enter a new class or have a new teacher or do something, it'd be like, oh, you're Erica's sister, right? Like, and sometimes they'd be like, like you just said my name, like, hello, like I'm an actual person. Like, so I wonder what that was like for you, being this tag along and having a similar passion to your sister. I mean, what was that like for you?
I was always like, there's little Accursi. That's little Accursi. Whether it was on the ice, in the classroom, I was known as little Accursi. Even on the ice, people would be like, oh, that's like an Accursi coming out. Like, this is what we're going to expect. And we're totally two different players. So they were kind of like, what the? Like, she's offense, goal scorer, this, that. I'm more defense. I go in the boards. I grind it out. So they're like, what is going on? They always say if they could combine us and put us into one player, we'd be an all-around player. But also being the younger sibling, I never got any new equipment. I always got her old stuff. My elbow pads to this day are still her old elbow pads. So are my shoulder pads.
It was good stuff.
Made it work for sure.
Oh man, I love that. Yeah, for sure. You got to make it work. And as you mentioned, it was not just, big sister Accursi, but having a hockey loving family. I'm sure that you got that. You were just the little one, like Hunter. We were like, who's that? Like, that's wild. But you also mentioned, Hunter, that you have two different styles. And of course, NWHL fans, especially last season, like Taylor put the league on notice that she is definitely a goal scorer. Okay. Like clear exclamation point in the books, locked it up. But I wonder, Hunter, for new fans, especially for Beauts fans, you alluded to it a little bit, but you've practiced, I'm sure, with the team. You've seen the team, how the team is comprised. What are you most excited, Hunter, to bring to this Buffalo Beauts team?
I carry a lot of speed defensively, like even going to their games. I've been at the games like the past couple seasons she's played. So the Beauts tend to be a little bit weaker in the D zone. So I'm excited to bring, being a defensive forward, I'm excited to bring that to the team, help out there. I'm honestly just excited to put the jersey on. It's gonna be weird having an H in front of it, but that's what happens when you share the last name. So I'm just excited overall to be able to play with her, not only, but I'm excited overall.
I love it. And I also want to build upon what you just said, a defensive, offensive player and a defensive forward. I love defense. That's another one of my biases. I just really do in all sports. But when it comes to a defensive-minded forward, I feel like that type of player in hockey might not often get a lot of credit or shine. Because if you're a defender and you make a good defensive play that everyone sees, that's clear cut. But even some of the best defenders, if you're doing really good on defense, it's not necessarily something that's going to pop, because you're essentially eliminating mistakes, is how I see it. So when it comes to how you like to impact a game or how you think about a game, I mean, how would you describe, like, on a play-by-play basis, what that really looks like and feels like to be a defensive-minded forward?
Yeah, so oftentimes I'm like the third man that touches the puck, so the other two will get the points, and it's not even about that, but often my name gets like missed on the score sheet, which is totally fine, but it's all about making those plays to be able to get out of our zone, get into the other zone, hit the player that's already leaving our zone, working with the defense, that type of stuff. And often forwards have the mindset where I want out of the zone, go, like I'm gone, and we leave our D hung out to dry a few times. So I'm always that player that's in there. I'm open, I'm ready for it, I'm ready to get out of our zone type of thing. So that's kind of how I see the game from my view.
Okay, kind of like a midfielder in hockey, or in soccer, excuse me.
Yeah, basically.
All right, so setting up the play. I saw you already pointing to yourself, Taylor, in a few of those things. I mean, sounds like that might be a pretty nice teammate to have.
I'm not gonna lie, honestly, I'm not a defensive player because I hate being in the defensive end, because you can't score goals in the D zone. They all start in the D zone when like players like her can get the puck out to players like us who are already leaving. So it's a pretty good dynamic, and it'll be a good addition to have to our back end for sure.
And, just to really tie a bow on this, Taylor Accursi, obviously, I have alluded to your ability to score goals. I mean, how many hat tricks? You had a hat trick plus in a wild game against the Riveters. I just cut a clip of that when Anya did her NWHL 101, and that was an insane game. I was just like watching it and just like, what is life even? But just describe a little bit more, if you could break down your game, and what you hope to bring to the Beauts this season.
All right, so just for me personally, like I said, I've always, it's no secret, I'm not a very defensive forward. My job going into a game is we're going to win by scoring goals, and that is something that I hold myself to a high standard too. If I can score early, then get us on the board and just keep rolling, then we're going to have a better shot to win. You're not going to win if you can't score goals. You're not going to win, obviously, if they score goals against you. But again, you got players that kind of help us out in the D zone for that. But yeah, my mindset's always, what can I do? I know there's different seasons. I've played different roles. Last year, I obviously was put in more of a leadership role. Really found my game. I've always been able to score, but last year I really found my groove. This year, again, with being named captain, it's a great opportunity for me to be able to continue to showcase my scoring abilities, but also leadership in the sense of, helping my teammates if they're feeling like they're having a bad game, then, taking that extra step to show them that they're probably really not. They're just in their head, and get it going because we need them. So that's kind of what I tend to bring to the table and what I'm hoping to this season.
Yeah, for sure. And you, of course, will be one of the captain for the Buffalo Beauts this year. I remember when you were on Open Ice, which of course is the NWHL Twitch program, you got into, and I think you also talked to Dan Rice about this, if I'm not mistaken, but about really having to find your love for the game. And I wonder, now that you've found yourself in this leadership position, you've kind of found your stride again in hockey. How do you hope to maintain that? Because that can be a balance that can be a little bit tricky, especially when you're given more responsibility, arguably, as a captain.
It's just having the attitude of being excited to go to the rink, and the Buffalo organization has done a really good job with recruiting players that make it feel like it's like a family. Like you're not walking into a room full of strangers or like awkwardness. I know there's a little bit of awkwardness like at the beginning, but I've been fortunate enough to have a good group of girls, like all 4 of my seasons, this year including. So yeah, you know, it's just maintaining, you know, that family atmosphere. And if anyone needs anything, that I'm always either a call or a pass away.
I love it. Well, that family atmosphere is probably a lot easier for you, Hunter, than some other players, as Taylor is literally a part of your family. But this is also a very different season than we've ever seen before, certainly in the NWHL. And we're as a worldwide community dealing with a lot. And so I wonder what that process has been like for you, knowing that you're coming onto the professional scene in a very different time, and how you're balancing maybe the expectations that you had versus what the reality is right now.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I was more prepared, you know, weekend games, how I'm going to manage school. I'm a nursing student right now, so that's all online. So this is honestly probably one of the best scenarios that could happen for me. A quick 2 weeks, then I'm still able to work online virtually, play at a professional level. So I'm excited for that. I know 2 weeks playing like almost back to back, it's a lot for like an athlete, but we've been training really hard. We're ready for it. So I'm just excited to get going.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned it will be a lightning quick season in the NWHL bubble. It's going to be at Lake Placid, which is really exciting. Of course, there's a lot of hockey history there, especially for the United States teams, that especially the women's teams do a lot of training there. But I'll start with Hunter and then we'll go to Taylor. When it comes to the ability to have such a concentrated number of games, not only on Twitch again, but then with the potential to play with the Beauts and certainly to have the league on NBC Sports. I mean, how exciting is that for you, Hunter? And then Taylor, will go to you.
It's definitely exciting. It's a great opportunity. I know when we were growing up, women's like sports weren't really broadcasted too much unless it was the Olympics. So it's great to be able to have the opportunity to be broadcasted. We got to get there. So that's something to work hard for, but it's a great opportunity. And for our family that can't be with us in Lake Placid, at least that's awesome for them to be able to turn on the TV and hopefully see us on the big screen.
Yeah, just kind of going off that, it's I'm pretty stoked. It's huge for our league, and yeah, it's going to be a lot easier to explain to your parents what channel to look for on the TV instead of setting up this laptop thing that they, you know, aren't necessarily familiar with a lot. So it's no, I'm only kidding. Slightly, it's kind of true, but no, it's a great opportunity, and I'm super excited about it.
Excellent. All right. So we'll end our segment here with a little bit of fun. But first, before we do that, I do want to ask you both about the jersey numbers that you will have for the Buffalo Beauts, because they're pretty high up there. I'm just curious where those numbers come from. So Taylor, we'll start with you and then go to Hunter.
For me, it's pretty easy. When I first got on the Beauts, my number was taken. I don't know if it was taken or I needed a fresh start. So I just chose my birth year.
There you go.
And for me, the number I wanted was actually taken. So I went with my birth year as well.
Remember that tag along?
There you go. So
just kidding.
Just kidding, slightly. Awesome. So it'll be easy, even without the age, to differentiate older sister, younger sister on the ice, because birth year is what we're going for in 2021. Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to do a fun game where I'm going to toss out a scenario and then you tell me which one is it more likely the truth for. So we will start with more likely to arrive late to practice. Ooh, Hunter, that was unanimous. What's going on there?
I lose track of time. I'm too busy doing like my makeup or trying to pick out an outfit, even if it's just for practice. I'm very much so like that. So this one's always in the car waiting for me.
I see, like the frustration was palpable there too. Like
she's
used to it.
Yeah, it's just been so many years that I'm used to it.
Who will have the most penalty minutes after the 2021 season?
Can we point up?
Just like
maybe
I don't know. She's a little more feisty, but
okay.
I sometimes get people, I'll go near them and they'll just fly over and I get called. So I don't know. That's a toss up. That's a good one.
All right. We'll see how the whistle goes for you both in the bubble. All right. Who's more likely to make an entrance with funky gear?
Funky.
Like an outfit?
No, like as in the smell is horrendous.
Oh, that's definitely her.
Oh,
brutal.
Oof.
My gloves are
it's
terrible.
Gloves.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll own that. No spray in the world will fix that.
It's just those hot hands, right?
I guess so.
See what I did there? I got you.
Love that.
All right. Most likely to get the party started, in the dressing room pregame. Who's got the tunes?
Yeah, she's more tunes. I'm more of a dancer.
Okay, perfect match there.
We bring the party.
I love it. All right, what are we rocking, you think, for 2021? What's the vibe, Taylor?
Like for games, I mean, I'm usually a country person, but like for games, we've got a game day playlist here. I'm just gonna.
She's prepared.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull it up here. I just gotta look at the most recent thing we got. We've got some ambassadors. We got some the Rec Laws, Justin Bieber. Oh yeah, just
some Cardi B.
And Nicki.
Can't go wrong there.
No.
All right, so Hunter's ready with the moves, busting out the moves.
Yep.
To support the playlist hype. You got to get everyone. I love it. I love this duo. This is fantastic. All right. Duncan's been a long time supporter of the NWHL. So this will be an individual question, but like, what's your go-to order, Duncan? It can be beverage or otherwise.
I usually just get a small iced coffee, regular. Keep it simple.
Classic.
I get like the black iced coffees with the sweeteners, the non-fat milk. So I'm more difficult, but definitely like it a certain way.
I'm picking up a vibe here. There's like a,
high maintenance, not so high maintenance.
I mean, if that's how you want to call it, but I was like, there's a vibe. I think I'm pretty low key. One of my sisters in particular, Jessie, actually, who I'm with, is she just takes a lot of care with things. And I'm like, I just need you in the car. Let's go.
Pretty much sums it up right there. If I say I'll meet you in the car, I'll be in there for a half hour. I can't say that anymore. I got to say, yo, Hunt, let's go. We got to go. I'm just fixing my eyelash. For what? Anyway, I could go on about that, but
oh man.
I still love her. But.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it. All right. So I'm gonna put this out there just so we can have it on the record, but between the Accursi sisters, who is gonna score or record a point first? Who do we think? All right, unanimous is with Taylor. Do you know if you'll be partnered at all?
I think coach is still trying to,
figure all that
out, manipulate, putting a bunch of us in a lot of different situations to see what's going to happen. I'd like to see her get the first point. That'd be pretty cool, assisted by me.
I was going to say, I pass you, you score.
But we'll see.
We'll
love to see it. We've had a few sister groups, the Parkers, Brote and Rosenthal for the Whitecaps. So, but I don't know that we've ever seen a sister duo pair up for a goal. So
here we go. That's gonna be our
I'm just saying.
Cool.
You know, all these games, I'm sure the rotation is gonna have to keep it fresh. We'll see what happens. Be on the lookout.
Or something.
All right, let's go with the last one. Okay, when it comes to like NDubble Isabel Cup merch, who's buying up the whole spot using that player discount to get the most merch in Lake Placid?
She spends money like it's great. Yeah. Like it grows on trees or something.
That would be me. Yeah.
I mean, you have to keep the memories alive. So
right? She'll be decked out.
Oh my gosh. All right. That was fantastic. Hunter and Taylor, thank you so much. Before we let you go, just anything that, other than obviously the games that we're going to get to see on Twitch and NBC Sports, what are you most excited about for this NDubble season in Lake Placid, New York?
I'm honestly just happy that we get to have a season. It's really big for the women's game in building. It's a historic event, which is awesome to be a part of. Obviously, again, being able to play with my sister over here, I think my parents are more excited than we are. But I just think overall it's a great opportunity. So.
Yep, I'd have to agree with that. I'm super excited to get there, and I'm pretty confident in this group of Beauts this season. So it's gonna be some great hockey to watch, and I'm looking forward to winning the cup.
All right, I love it. Well, thanks again for some time. I'm sure the Accursi family is happy that they get to root for one team and they don't have to split interests in this NDubble season. And okay, actually, I lied. I have one more, most likely to. Who's going to give us the better BTS behind the scenes content from the Wubble? We got to know. Fans want to know.
Ooh. Like, if we're doing some spike ball, she's probably the one to watch. But if you want like game day outfits, makeup routine, like I'm the girl for that.
She'll have her own show. It's a link. We'll provide it.
Hey, listen, let's start a YouTube. Let's get your own channel, Hunter. I'm here for it. I already told you I have at least one player. They're from the Boston Pride, ready for some game day drip outfits. Like, we're really trying to take this to the next level for the bubble. So I'm a holler.
Outfits. Game day, wear one outfit to one game. Out. You won't see me in it again.
Okay, we're definitely following up on that note. So this is going to be so much fun. Well, Taylor, Hunter, again, thank you so much. We're excited to see you hit the ice. And of course, please stay safe and enjoy this prep time, as we're 18 days as of this recording from the beginning of the season.
Yep, super excited. Thanks, Erica, for your time, and as always, it's been great talking to you.
Yes, and stay safe as well.
Oh man, okay, well, that aside, I'm maybe putting together like a game day drip segment, Hunter, so might have to circle back on that, so because it sounds like you be on point. So
sure.
She's your go-to.
If you got value from this video, please consider subscribing and hit the notifications button. I have a lot of NWHL content coming out, so you're going to want to stay tuned, including a very fun, a very special interview with Angelica Rodriguez, or as I call her, Angie, and we're going to talk all things Buffalo Beauts. Yes, I will be doing a 101 series for each individual team of the NWHL. And since we just heard from the Accursi sisters, I figured why not get it going with Buffalo.